I deem it better to end this wretched existence,
Hmm.
to save you from the 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 squamous beast of which no name is pronounceable that will jump forth from my chest if I continue to live long. Wait, sorry. Um, that was a line from my fan fiction for Cupid. Um,
Hmm. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Coco here with the Devil's Avocado, and we're continuing Cupid.
greetings, greetings. Get right into it.
Yeah.
I know, darling. I know. I can't remember what we know.
Neither can I. It's been a while, once again. Guijam chuckled and kissed her temple.
It goes to show how your presence uplifts everyone's lives. Okay, I'm looking back. Oh, this is talking about how she was feeding like the poor people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, including mine.
Literally or metaphorically?
Mm, can it be both?
Probably.
Hmm. But honestly, those reasons aren't exactly why. I love you, Cass. I just do. Beyond what I thought I was capable of.
Catherine's heart cracked with his last utterance.
If I did something bad, would you still love me? Yes, I would.
Bold claim to make?
Uh, he likes him naughty. Are you sure? I'm positive. What if I hurt an innocent person? What if I've hurt you? Spoiler alert, Catherine, you've hurt him. Like, like you both have hurt each other. So, like, and
This time she's
you,
hurt him in a hypocritical way, though.
possibly yes. I'm trying to remember what's going on.
Well, I
Like we
she's
talk,
this is
she's
she almost did the do with Catherine.
yes,
So I'm sure this is what she's confronting him about.
and she's probably feeling like the guilty of like the kind of rapiness of it.
Yeah, and the fact that
Uh,
she actually felt something. She got excited by it when she didn't feel anything with Bijem.
yeah.
But yeah, I
Um,
mean, like, how many times has she given him a hard time for
cheating
yeah,
and here,
when he may not have. Like, we still don't even have confirmation if he's ever cheated.
yeah, no, we don't. Um,
But
but
yeah, she bit her lip.
what if I was um unfaithful?
Guijim stared at her questioningly. Catherine buried her face in his chest.
Well, it's out now.
Well, I'm glad she told him right away. She,
Yeah.
she felt unlike a certain protagonist from a certain game called Capcom. Or
Wait,
Catherine.
what?
Uh, uh,
Oh,
Catherine, I meant.
I haven't actually played it. I saw like a little bit of it, but I never really.
Actually, it's funny that I brought that up now because I love that game, and two best friends started playing it, and it's the one I've always wanted to like sort of play, and possibly record. And seeing them play it has like kind of reinvigorated me. But what I want to do is that I want to get like a group together of people who are in very different situations, and I wanted to ask you if you would also LP that with me. The only thing is that I don't know how I would go about that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I would be welcome to. I have spoken openly before, I think, and I have no problem with the fact that uh oh wait, I think it was here that I was the other woman in a relationship. So, um
Well, then that adds even more perspective. Like, I was thinking primarily how you're a married man. But we'll get into
this is also
details.
true
We'll get into those details in between
later.
episodes. She felt his hands smooth away her hair. He whispered gently into her ear.
If you would still have me, come back to me.
Okay, I'm gonna admit that's pretty suave.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. Um, Chew. She turned into a Pokemon.
What does that
Pika
mean?
Pika. What happened doesn't matter at all. You're not your mistakes, Kath.
Gujem cleared his.
This is apropos.
Suddenly, he seemed to have trouble breathing.
You have the power to change. How about you? I feel like I'm choking on pins and needles. Like literal pins and needles. It's the strangest thing. Have you ever had this happen to you? How about you? If I told you that I am not what I say I am, would you? Hmm? What do you mean? Never mind.
Oh, come on.
'Tis a silly question. It's like how Camelot is a silly place. Nani desu ka? Is something bothering you? Choo.
Okay, I need to find out what that word means.
Yeah.
Gujem turned his head away and closed his eyes.
Nothing, darling. You should sleep now.
Cabbage? Alright, what are the other translation? Okay, it can be like poppet, another sherry or amor. Catherine patted away the frown on his brow. She traced his cheek with her fingers.
Yo army, I do love you. Now I am more than certain. I'm even taking upon your dramatic line reading. It gives my heart happiness to know for sure. What reminded me was your generosity. Hmm?
Oh.
You give every bit of yourself to the people you love. Do you know that? Because I have to, darling. Well, you have always inspired me. Choo. I've always looked up to you. Mostly because you're like half a foot taller. Oh wait, this is France. It's 30, 20 centimeters. I can convert metric in my head.
I can't. I can't do it on paper either.
I have always looked up to you. You treat everyone, no matter their status, with kindness. Never have I met a man more generous and thoughtful about others. A man with so much love to give that he's probably cheated. Never mind. And that is why I love you. You are a good man, Charlie Brown. But if that's not what I really am,
Catherine shook her head.
you can't fake sacrifice. Manchu! I have seen you care for the people in this town. I've seen how you've loved me. I don't care much for intention, you see.
That's
That's a complicated thing.
yeah. I mean, intent. I don't
It
even know how to feel about that.
it
Intent isn't everything, but it's significant.
yeah. I mean, if if you ignore intent, you have to recognize uh, preparedness. Like if intent doesn't matter if you consider the fact that people can prepare to avoid things where intention doesn't match up, i.e., like, you know, I don't care if you never intended to cheat, but you know that you you could have, not kept a dating app on your phone after you start going together or something. That type of thing. Like, you know, things that, or like, yeah, I know you intended to stop smoking, but you probably shouldn't keep a lighter around if that's the case. So you're ready to bum something off of somebody, or that type of thinking. Like, if you prepare yourself correctly, then intention shouldn't matter because what you really are should be what your actions are. But that's a very high standard. That's kind of only giving examples that go one way as opposed to like,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that intent can stand for so many things, and completely ignoring it, like, here's an example in which doing that would be really bad. Like, someone could say. Someone could have the intent to hurt you, even if they never act on it. I think it's still significant that they have that in mind. But let's just go on.
yeah, no, that's pretty reasonable though. But it's what we actually do that defines us. Guillermo paused. Oh, that's your line. I'll just finish up.
Yeah.
His voice choked up in his throat. This I should be perfectly ready for. Not always. Not always.
Guillem found Catherine's hand on his face and squeezed it. She stretched her neck and kissed his cheek.
Catherine, you are always scared I will leave you. But the truth is, I know it is you who will leave me. And it hurts. What? You are different.
Well, I mean, I guess in the end he was right about that.
I've loved you for so long, even when it was probably not really healthy because you were a child. It scares me how deep I have rooted myself. Sometimes I I deem it better to end this wretched existence,
Hmm.
to save you from the 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 squamous beast of which no name is pronounceable that will jump forth from my chest if I continue to live long. Wait, sorry. Um, that was a line from my fan fiction for Cupid. Um,
Hmm. Sure.
what do
I'll
you?
share a link in the description.
What are you talking about, Guillermo? You're not making any sense. Are you speaking in tongues? Are you speaking English? Is it your turn to scare me? Maybe. I'm sorry.
They didn't speak for a while. The air became a little uncomfortable. She could feel Guijem's stressful breathing on her forehead. Catherine wondered what Guijem was talking about, but it didn't seem like he wanted to discuss it further. When Guijem started to calm down, Catherine thought it best to sleep and ask him about it the next day. But Guijem spoke again. His voice was low and serious.
Catherine, do you love me? With all of my probably not straight heart, Guillermo. I've loved you for what it seems my whole life, other than the fact that you have a penis and it makes me kind of weirded out. Like,
The candle
I want to
flickered.
touch it.
Guijem slipped his hands on Catherine's hair and gently pushed her face towards his. She closed her eyes and let the sensation of his lips take her. His mouth left sweet traces on her skin, as if washing away her sins, blessing her, anointing her. Catherine tasted salt in his kiss, like the taste of tears. She wanted to take away all his sorrows. Guijem held her tightly, longingly. She drowned herself in his embrace. His palm caressed her neck as he kissed her, sliding down her arm and the curve of her. I'm trying so hard not to burp right now.
This is a serious, sexy, sexy scene. Get it together, woman.
His fingers tugged gently on her skin. Catherine darted her tongue inside his mouth, and Guijem answered it with his own. She wanted his every kiss. She felt pleasure to know he was hers. Her hands ran up and down his back as their kisses grew heavier. She felt him get excited, and she moved her hands between his legs. I really hope no one in the household is hearing me right now. Guijem broke away.
Cass. Let's stop. You're tired.
Catherine looked into his eyes and saw he wanted her despite his protest. That's not your call to make. After the events of that night, there was a despair in Catherine that longed to be quenched.
So you were figuring this out, like
It was a self.
also
Go ahead.
uh this is like okay. There are nonverbal consent cues, but they are not communicating well enough to trust them.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Like,
he did say let's stop. I think that's it. That's when you stop.
oh, oh, yes. In her regard, he said stop, but like he said like he could see that she wanted him or something, right? Sorry.
Yeah,
Hold on.
she's saying that she can see in his eyes that he still
Looked
wants
into
her,
his eyes.
and I'm like,
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
Kat, that's not your call to
I
make.
saw that backwards.
Oh, okay.
Like and like there's some amount of truth that could be true, but he said stop.
Yeah.
So this is
That's it.
the rape.
It was a
But
selfish atonement, perhaps, a hunger for self-worth. She ran her tongue over his lips.
I want this, and that justifies my action, Cat.
Catherine straddled him, dipping her head and plunging her tongue deep into his mouth. She opened his shirt, nibbling on his ear as she did. She could feel his manhood alive on her thigh. She
I sure hope it wasn't dead.
she moved her hips. A distraught moan left his throat. She bit her lip coyly. It made her want to do more. The clench of his jaw, his aroused breath, the cord of his neck. They were her little trophies, her bliss. Catherine pulled his shirt free. She traced a finger down his bare stomach, keeping the rhythm on her hips. He opened his mouth, his eyes fluttering. She watched in ecstasy as he bit his lip. To know that he couldn't resist her made her swell with pride. Guijem grinded with her. He began to answer her passion with his own energy. Guijem sat up in bed, finally reaching for her, finally giving in. It felt like a victory to her. Guijem grabbed her neck and pulled her face to him. This is weird music.
I'm not getting the music. It's strange.
His tongue...
Hold on.
Okay.
It may be that there's a volume on. Get back here, mixer.
I'll continue reading. His tongue bored deeply into her. Catherine pulled on his hair, surprised at his sudden intensity. Heat ran through her body. She savored his dominance. His lips ran down her neck to her chest. He sucked on her collarbone while working the buttons on her blouse. She slipped the garment down with his teeth and kissed the bare skin experimentally. Every nerve felt tender. Every length of skin felt raw. It was a reminder, an awareness that her flesh was a living thing. Oh. Are you still following along, or are you still...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the music now, and there's definitely, like, a leather snapping sound in that music.
Yep. There was a buildup of tension as he squeezed her breast, planting soft, tiny kisses on its fullness. His hands hovered near her. I'm getting embarrassed reading this. Her crotch. A stray finger would brush her sensitive spots, almost innocently. It drove her mad. He was teasing her, studying her reactions with every touch. Catherine drew a sharp breath as Guijem sucked on her nipple. His tongue played with it until it was hard and pert. Catherine felt like a melting candle, hot and ablaze, dripping, thawing in her own heat. Her heart began to pace. And am I going to be able to put this up on YouTube?
You may need to put little, like, sensors. I'll figure out something funny to put over anything if there's anything. So far, nothing.
Oh, okay. So, like, what I'm reading is not going to cause any problems, just if there's anything shown visually.
Oh, yeah, you can pretty much read whatever you want.
Okay. Time to read 50 Shades of Grey. Growing steadily, steadily heavier, beating louder. From sweet affection to wanton lust. He whispered her name, and it sent a violent tremor throughout her skin. It would start in her torso, surging through her, startling the roots of her hair. Her throat made short, hurt sounds. She would usually stop here. An irksome apathy would take hold of her and she would stop. Now, this wasn't like the other times. Catherine felt a hot throbbing at the pit of her stomach. A clench in her body wound her up tighter and tighter, putting her in danger of release. This was different. This was...
Oh, this is an awkward thing to say during sex. Like, don't ask this. Pro tip from a sex haver. Being that I have had sex, I can tell you, this is awkward. There are plenty of good questions during sex. This is not one of them. Still, that snapping, leather snapping, like, it does not seem like it's that kinky yet. Do you love me, Catherine? I feel a little bad. That was definitely that was thrust timing. Guilherme,
Her voice came out throaty and thick. Guillem laid her down on the bed. His fingers slipped easily inside her, the sensation smooth like silk. She felt him moving around inside, pressing on her walls experimentally. It didn't take long for him to find her weakness. He was surprisingly, worryingly adept. Catherine squirmed. She didn't have time to marvel at his expertise. His left hand expertise?
Sorry,
It's all right.
I need to correct you.
His
Um,
His left hand massaged her breast, while the other tickled the lips of her opening. His little finger petted her other hole.
Oh my.
Guillem's lips ran down her shoulder. She barely noticed him slipping another finger inside. When she did, her mind went white for a few seconds. A sharp breath, then a sigh. Her hips were moving on their own while their tongues flickered and danced. Another heart seemed to beat and throb furiously in her groin. She felt for him. She found his shaft stiff under his trousers.
trousers is a funny word.
She squeezed his stiffness, eager for its girth. Cloth against flesh, soft against hard. Lips and teeth, spit and sweat. Their bodies began to rock together. Their breaths were hot and audible. Guillem dug his tongue on the hollow of her neck. Catherine whined. The soft sounds returned to her lips, but Guillem covered them with his mouth. Her voice echoed in their heads. She wanted to scream, and the scream would come from very deep.
Yes, you're ruining the mood, Guilherme. It's awkward. Do you love me? Oh, Glab. Glab, I love you.
She said in an urgent, desperate frenzy. In and out his fingers went, each time touching her places. With every movement he seemed to steal her breath. Faster now. Then she twitched and something snapped inside of her. Her toes curled and a squeal escaped through her nose. Catherine opened her eyes. Ooh. She caught something alarming as she stared up at him. He didn't look like Guillem in the shadows, unlicked by candlelight. His features were the same. His eyes were in the same place. His nose and lips were the same shape. But this man was a stranger. He did not care for her, like how a snake didn't care for its prey. For a brief second, she was afraid. A tiny voice told her to run away, but that voice was washed away by a wave of carnal desire. The stranger grinned at Catherine.
Mine.
Faster now, deeper his kisses went, as if reaching for something inside her. His weight on her body excited her, but it also felt like a prison.
Let's see, is this... Run, rabbit. Run, rabbit, run.
Catherine viciously devoured his lips. And I was hoping we could finish this scene in one episode, but we are way overboard now, so we will have to see how this ends next time. See you guys.
Farewell.
Hey guys, you already know the drill.
Wait, no! What if someone just joined right now and they don't know the drill?
Well,
You're just
too
leaving them out.
bad for them.
You're so cold. You're so mean.
That's what brings people. They like being hurt.
That's true. You got a point there. Can't
Yeah.
argue with that.
You know, gotta cater to some masochists. Someone needs to take care of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Who better but us?
That's a good thing you're being inclusive to that audience.
But no foot fetishes. I'm kidding. You foot fetishists are welcome here too.